part 2 of my humanities final essay on Death Note and Buddhism. And so this selfishness, which the Buddha identifies as the cause of suffering, Easewarren, page 153, is behind Light's view of the world, how evil works, and how it should be stamped out. It is behind his condescendence of everyone but himself, and his aspirations to ultimately take control of every soul on earth, so they can be happy. What it is also behind is his downfall. As Light builds his empire, he comes to also build enormous webs of manipulation. He controlled people so well that one day his control extended further than he had expected, and it had given him away. Quote, "Mikami, your loyalty to me was quite impressive. I did tell you that people had their eyes on me, and I couldn't act. Like Nier said, you must have used your wits and made your move believing that it would be for my good. But I also told you not to take the real notebook out. Trusting in your loyalty worked against me." Oba, volume 12, page 116. As the ultimate loser of the battle, then, Light attempts to convince the investigators that killing him would be a greater evil than letting him live, as he has ended war and reduced the crime rate by 70%. He has become the world's icon of justice, and there would be almost no one, publicly if asked, who would denounce him as evil rather than good. Regardless of whether or not the investigation team would respect him, the people of the world held him as a god for what he has done. Oba, volume 12, page 138 to 139. But as the Buddha had freedom and self-discovery of what is truly good through one's own experiences in mind, I think the head of the investigation, Nier, steals the words of the Buddha that the Buddha would have had completely. Quote, "No, you are just a murderer, and this notebook here is the worst murder weapon in the history of mankind. You have yielded to the power of the notebook and Shinigami, and have confused yourself with a god. You're just a crazy mass murderer, nothing more, and nothing less. Nier, you're wrong. I'm the icon of justice now." Light says, "You may be right. Nobody can tell what is right and what is wrong. What is righteous and what is evil, even if there is a God, and I had his teachings before me, I would think it through and decide of that if it was right or wrong myself. I'm no different from you. I believe in what I think is right, and believe that to be righteous. You are no God, and I feel that the whole idea of you setting the path for all the people to follow is neither peaceful nor righteous, and anybody who claims to be a god and kills people left from right is definitely evil in my standards." Oba, page 12, volume 12, page 116. So the final nail in the coffin for Light's deeds, being unrighteous in reality, is also rooted in selfishness. He does not even consider that there are other ways of looking at the world and its goods and evils. So he automatically assumes that his way is the right and only way, and that everyone else must follow them in order to make peace. In his complete assurance, he leaves no other person to give voice without penalty of death, for, quote, "Those who try to fight me, they're the evil ones." He forces the path on all others, Oba, volume 1. He is at the center of his own world, but that is not the case in the real one. In the end, he too succumbs to the common denominator, death, that he had grown so accustomed to dealing out to others. He had known all along that the Shinigami who had lent him the Death Note had done it for his own entertainment, to see what mankind would do with such a thing. But now that Light had been found out, his show would no longer be fun to watch, and so he writes Light's name down. Here he discovers how little he really is in the grander picture of things. He realizes just as the people that he used as tools no longer were of use to him, or left the picture of what he saw as belonging in his world, he put their name in the notebook. He had no more need of them. They were tools to him. They were dispensable. Now he finds himself the same thing, a tool for Ryuk's entertainment, which he was all along. He was merely that. He was no god. He was an entertainer for Ryuk. He was Ryuk's clown, We think of Ryuk as being the clown that follows Light around. Light is really the one that is putting on a show for Ryuk. And now that the show is over, his usefulness has ended, and his name goes in the Death Note. So here he finds his own place in the universe that cares not for his I, that he had passionately called just, and as a god. But his discovery of this is too late, for he will find out that the death he had dealt out to others did not result in the good of mankind, but in his own death. That's the end of my essay. Sources are Eknath Easwaran's The Dhammapada by Nilgiri Press in 2007, and Oba Tsugumi's Death Note by Viz Media in 2003. Thank you for listening.